With sun when the doors lift. Whole squad hide the burners. Mets hat in the sky like Bobby Smurder. They watch me like the chip courtside at the Rucker. Flowing when they getting tougher. She begging me to cuff her. Brooklyn sweet chick waffles with raspberry butter. Wear a mink at the roller rink middle of the summer. If I can't get it done, I got soldiers with me to cover. Queens get the money, we only stacking it up with. Cheese stay icy, cause get spicy. She on demon time, I get her a timepiece. Panic. Not lit, not like me. Can't get nothing by me, my mind in 2090. Kalo K, everybody pricey. Cost money, beat the charge money. Fast money, push the start money. Large money, Escobar money.
So for those who are just now turning in and aren't listening to the radio portion but only watching the video, yo, that is I played it 3 times. I have not heard that song. If you know me, you already know I love Nas. I've been love Nas. My daddy got videos of Nas being all over my room when I was a youngin'. So, wow, everybody, spicy. I'm trying to live that life. Raspberry butter, that sounds really good, actually. I'm down to try it. So today we are talking about women who win. And I'm excited to have that conversation because in so many like everything is catty. So I am excited to have like an adult female conversation that's not based on, a niche, but just like women. And it's all of us. And so I think it's so necessary. UNITY. I've been really thinking about unity lately. And what does unity mean? And how does unity work? And why we need to all speak the same language, if not in our tongue, then in our mind. And so that probably sounds absolutely bad-ish crazy to most of you. But what I'm saying is we do not. Yesterday I was having a conversation and I was talking to my godfather about infrastructure and why the price of gas is inflate like it's always inflated with a freaking Democrat. And it's because Democrats hate oil. They hate the fracking because we care about the earth. But with Joe Biden, it's stopping. We're not doing it anymore. You're not doing anymore, huh? That's when there's like limitations. And so the want and the need is still there, but yet the project itself is now on pause. And so we never really came to the table with a plan. There's no plan as far as altering our infrastructure. And we've never had a real conversation about altering our infrastructure because big oil pays a lot of money to a lot of people who make decisions, because we, the people, are not making decisions. We wouldn't be in the predicaments that we are currently in life if we, the people, made the decisions where our tax-paying dollars go. And I say that over and over again because it doesn't matter who you are or how much money you make or how successful you are or how much education you have. There is absolutely nobody here in the United States who is a citizen who is working that does not get raped fiscally every single day. Every dollar that you make, at least 30 cents is out the door to somebody else. And then if you're a woman, it's even less because you make less money than a man. If you're a black woman, it's even less because you make less money than the white woman. And it gets lower and lower and lower and trickles down. And we've never really sat down and had a concrete plan and said, listen, if we are going to alter the infrastructure, let's take a look at Teslas. And I don't mean Tesla, the company, I mean actual Tesla. And if you pay attention to what this crazy man is trying to do, that is exactly what he is trying to do, is have a whole Tesla situation. Like everybody have a damn iPhone. You're either going to have electric or you're going to have an Android, which means your ass going to still be connected to oil. And so you have to pick one of the two. And we have not, as a unified country, understood that our entire world, the entire globe, our entire way of living it needs to be altered for our carbon footprint. But amongst other things, we have a solar system that creates and generates everything that we need. Why are we effing up the thing that we are living on in order to supply it doesn't make common sense for me. So forget Republican, forget Democrat. It doesn't make common sense for us to not have unified. And even globally, like, how do we harness the sun? You know, Bill Gates is trying to throw chalk in the damn atmosphere to stop global warming. Well, we were just listening to Bill Gates talk about what vaccines need to have. Why are we listening to Bill Gates? That's a real question. How does Bill Gates have all of this power to dictate and determine how we run the the whole earth, the entire world? And so it's not happening right now, but that is something that he is proposing, and it is a conversation that's currently being had, enough for it to be in the news. And if you know anything about the weather machine, yes, it's real. It's called HARP. It creates storms. Amongst that, we also create clouds, chemtrails. Amongst that, why block out the sun? Because that's not the real problem. The real problem is what we're doing to ourselves to thin that layer. Not the sun is piercing us and harming us. It's what we're doing inside that's affecting us. So why don't we fix the inside instead of dimming our light literally, which makes everything and it just common sense. I don't feel like it's soapbox down. I'm done. But it's something to think about. As far as what does that look like? I've thought about it. When you actually listen to the people who know a little bit and are able, not just the people who know a little bit, but people who know a little bit and are dreamers and are not attached to what we know we can do, but believe that we can do something different. And so if you look at any and every, how did we get here today? We did things differently, and it was the weirdo, and it was the strange person, and it was the outster, and it was the one that we ostracized that actually changed and made our lives different, better, and improved. So how are we not learning from our history, learning from our past, understanding our mistakes, and taking, where are the weirdos? We need the weirdos today, and having a conversation with them as far as what does it look like to go fully solar? What does it look like for every house to be able to power themselves? What is this dependency that we are so attached to as Americans? What is the meek and the mildness of a citizen when it's because of us that anything runs? When did we decide that the politician knew better than what we did about our lives? It's like going to the doctor, and yes, the doctor knows a little bit and went to school and has all of this philosophy and theory and experience of other people's experiences, but this is you and your body, and you know that something's different, and you know that I need help. There's at some point where the person who is running things doesn't understand the way things actually run. And we are there politically. And I'm just wondering when, my favorite meme in the whole wide world will always be with the citizens bent over on their backs, on their hands, and standing up, but hands and knees, creating a table for politicians to play a game of chess. And all we have to do is stand up and the game is done. That is literally unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I want you guys to be one together and have one accord and be able to fight the resistance. And the revolution will not be televised. There's a little girl in Birmingham right now who had her bond revoked because she went live after a car accident. Like, we be televised. Let me tell you something. Let me show you something. I'm like, yo. As far as news is concerned, soapbox down. I'm done. But that Nas, oh my gosh. Can we play 5 seconds of it? Can I hear my boo's voice real quick? The beat is so hard.
Boss, your lordship, talking yachts and some more. I used to run the block, now I'm corporate. Hopping out, you know it's sun when the doors lift. Whole squad hide the burners. Mets hat in the sky like Bobby Smurder. They watch me like a chip courtside at the Rucker. Flowing when they getting tougher. She begging me to cuff her. Brooklyn sweet chick waffles with raspberry butter. Wear a mink at the roller rink middle of the summer. If I can't get it done, I got soldiers with me to cover. Queens get the money, we only stacking it up with. Cheese stay icy, cause get spicy. She on demon time, I get her a timepiece. Panic. Not lit, not like me. Can't get nothing by me, my mind in 2090. Kilo K, everybody pricey. Cost money, beat the charge money. Fast money, push the start money. Large money, Escobar money. Little advice.
Yo, I love me some Nas. As far as news is concerned, what'd he say in one of his songs? Pushing 40, still look 20? He does. Lord, he does. Okay, so as far as news is concerned, a white woman calls a bakery woman a bitch N-word. Sort of like the same thing you call people when it's just like, oh, you're a real BN. A real BN. For not serving her without a mask. And she said that she has children who are half black. And so she feels like it's appropriate for her to say that word. Mm-hmm. She was invited to the cookout. I'm not gonna play the video, but you can watch it for yourself. You probably did because it's all over the gram. It's all over everywhere. She said that you infringe on my freedoms. I stand by what I said. And she said what she said. And you're not gonna attack me for my opinion. And she thinks she was invited to the cookout. U.S. media is offering a different picture of COVID-19 from science journals or international media. And that's a question that we've been talking about since day one. Like, what is the truth? What is, shout out to my girl in Florida. I will never, for those who are doing the work and getting hurt for it, a woman in Florida worked for the State Department and was putting out the numbers for the COVID-19 numbers. She said that those are not the real numbers and they wanted her to lie. And I believe that they have all of these trumped up charges on her to silence her from her truth. I don't know where she is today, but I do. Listen, I've been trying to find her to see if we can interview her because I want to know the truth. She was trying to, don't let them lie. She was leaving the way it happened in my head, though. The way it happened in my head, they were like dragging her out. She was like, tell the truth. Tell the truth. That's probably not how it happened, but she certainly did send a text message like, what we're putting out is not 100% accurate. Y'all need to check the facts. Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them. And she got in trouble. And so the U.S. media is telling us one thing, but journals and science is saying something completely different. And Dr. Fauci said, if you wear 18 masks, you'll never get it. Who are we? Who? Like, who do we actually need to pay attention to? So your grandpa made a lousy deal. Is that my problem? If you know what that movie is from, you are a real nerd, and I love you. But Bruce Saccadone is an economics professor at Dartmouth College, and he noticed something last year about the COVID-19 television coverage when he was watching all of the shows. It almost always seemed negative, regardless of what was happening in the data or hearing from scientists. But from last year, December, he's saying that we've increased, across the nation. We've increased our doses, we decreased the numbers as far as COVID is concerned. Like if you actually look at the data itself, it's not what the media is portraying it to be. And so even though they're making it seem like there's an uptick, but we're declining, it's like, no, we've been declining this entire time, and less people are getting sick and less people are dying, more people are recovering. There are like people having side effects from having COVID-19, a shortness of breath. We do not know the long-term effects of COVID-19 and contracting and healing from it. But are you 100% healed? And so we have no clue. And there have been a host of issues once someone has. So it's not like, oh, it's just a lung problem. It's like, it's a lung problem. It's a blood problem. It's a heart problem. It's a gastric problem. Like it's issues throughout the body after you have COVID-19. And it's funny that we've never seen this before. And it was created when a bat and a pig met. So they say. I don't know. I just find it interesting. So read the studies, read the journals. My mentor, Dr. Tia Martin, says that most of all, like her, what's going on? Hey, good rising, good rising. I'm sorry I wasn't in the comments. My mentor talks all the time about who is the source. And we saw with the Boston bombing, and we see every day where people will like retweet something or like, you heard it first. Actually, that's not the right thing. That we heard the wrong information first. And it was reputable news stations and institutions that were putting out false media, and like all the way false because they weren't checking their facts. And so the best way for you to check your facts are journals, because journals and papers and articles and research have to go through so much. They have to go through hoops and loops and like boards of people reading their work and fact checking their work. And so it's not just an opinion like Taylor Andre, but it's actual due diligence of the issue at hand. And speaking of the issue at hand, the next time we have Dr. Tia Martin in the building, we're going to have a conversation about how whiteness and white supremacy have an effect on Black and white people. And so on the Dr. Umar Johnson show on Monday, I made that comment. He was talking about having contractors and contractors coming through and not following through. And he made, I don't remember how it played out, but I said that white supremacy is harmful to Black and white people. And one of the comments was like, that was the stupidest thing that anybody could have ever said. And this is why we don't let women make decisions, because they do things based on emotion. That part may be true as far as the Taylor Andre is concerned. But what you're not going to do is tell me when I'm wrong. And whiteness does hurt Black people as much as it hurts white people. And that is a conversation that we will have with Dr. Tia Martin. But there are articles and research and studies that prove that white supremacy doesn't just harm Black people. Like, we're not the only ones harmed. It hurts white people too. When you have this false ideology, like it's a mental health issue. You have mental health issues. It harms both parties. So we're going to have a deeper dive into that, but I don't know how we went down that rabbit hole. Next in news, Virginia becomes the first Southern state to abolish the death penalty after holding the record for the most executions in the United States. So yes, baby, right the wrong. The first Southern state, let's be clear. First Southern state. And technically, when you're on your way to the South, when you're in a Virginia, you don't, yes, in some parts of Virginia, and depending on what road you take. Yes, I'm just now remember, yes, Virginia looks low country. But the first state to abolish the death penalty, which like people are coming out and saying it's a civil right, it's a human rights. You just don't get to kill people. If you want to let them rot in jail, that's fine, but you don't just get to kill them. If having in that same vein, how do you when you go to jail, you're supposed it's a correctional institution. How do we call correctional institutions when I just read an article about how, and it's something that's known, right? If you have any family member in the jail system, you already know, or the prison system, you already know that it's a cash cow, and that the people who are really truly behind bars 90% of the time don't need to be there, but need to be elsewhere, right? And so we incarcerate and probate and parole so many people that we have superseded the amount of slaves that we actually had at one point in America. And a lot of these men and women behind bars are getting paid 30 cents on the dollar an hour for jobs that typically pay $37 to $45 an hour. And so Victoria's Secret bras and panties are made in prison a lot. So California is slick, right? So California gets X amount of dollars from the state in order to get their chairs and their like the hardware of their offices. So whether that be the courthouse or the jail or the registry, anything that's owned by the state of California type situation. So they get X amount of dollars from the state to furnish the state or whatever it is that the state needs. They then go to the prison system and have prisoners making these chairs, desk, making chairs, making desks, a woodworker, a whole woodworker, depending on your piece or depending on your name, like it could be an expensive ass $1,000 piece if you truly can do what it do on a woodwork. You feel me? And so at least $45, $75 an hour to do woodwork, and they're paying 30 cents an hour to these men and women to build it. And then where I don't know where the other funds are, but if you follow the money, I bet you it's not going to actually feeding the people who are working the work. And so I said all of that to say we have a lot of work to do when it comes to the industrial prison, everything, which in the school to prison pipeline, and all of that works into funneling into let's make these cattle of dollars. Which again, I will go back and say over and over again, I don't know why we don't want people to make money because we are a tax-paying nation. The more people who make more money, pay more taxes, we get to rape them fiscally even more, which makes them more money for us to have. So it doesn't make sense to, I don't know, it's dumb. I'm over it, but I'm not, and I never will be because we don't act within common sense. We always vote against our best interest. And it just, why? I don't like it here today. I don't like it here today. And it might have to do with the fact that the clouds are out. And I feel a little cloudy when the clouds are out. But I'm a ray of sunshine when it's sunny. Tesla is now accepting Bitcoin as payment. Why are we not surprised? Because we knew it was coming. For crying out loud, there is a parish in Florida that is thinking about paying their employees in Bitcoin. Yes. And you better keep all your coins that you actually have because them things ain't about to exist. The dollar ain't finna exist. The little hundreds that you have, them old big faces, you might as well keep those because those are going to be antique soon. So I am collecting all my coins. I have all of my bills like, I'm going to be that old lady like, remember when we used to have $1? I have one of those around here because Bitcoin is the wave of the future, baby. You about to be paid in Bitcoin. You about to scan everything. You ain't gonna have no money, nothing in your hand. People can hack you and steal your stuff. I don't know that to be true. I just, let me show you something. Let me show you the most craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you tell me how down the hole of a conspiracy theorist that I am. All right. So what's the boy name? Here it is. Let me share it so you can see it. It's scary. And this is real life today.
It's a little embarrassing, it reminds me, it was once in Russia, I ran into Gorbachev. He said, Mr. Movie Star, are you nervous? I said, no, Mr. Gorbachev, I'm not nervous. Well, remember how much a polar bear weighs? I said, polar bear? He said, enough to break the ice. It's the last time I've ever seen Mikhail Gorbachev. You guys cool if I play some sports? I love it. More for the audio experience. You're gonna see my amigo, Chris.
Hold on, wait for it. Hold
as much as the momentum. How AI and VFX. Hey, listen up, sports and TikTok fans.
Let me show you.
If you like what you're seeing, just wait till what's coming next. What's up, TikTok? You guys cool if I play some sports? I'll show you some magic. It's the real thing.
I think there's bubblegum inside this. That's incredible. How come nobody ever told me there's bubblegum? Incredible. Oh, yeah.
I just want to ask you how y'all feel about that. How you feel about that? What that look like? What that feel like? And that's a celebrity. And that's a little boy at home making videos. Really, that's what that is. That's a little boy at home making videos. No real technology. No real nothing. I'm just trying to tell you. Just think about it. I don't know. Let's pay some bills because I failed to do that. And they're going to come get me if I don't. So we'll be right back. I am Taylor Andre. Everything Taylor Andre. TAYLAANDRE.com. All social medias.
Spark FM.
I know you nasty. She be touching on her own body.
Igniting the airwaves. Spark FM.
Says she wanna take me away. Says she wanna take me away. Says she wanna show me the way.
Join us on Facebook and Instagram at sparkfmonline.com. Turn us up. Spark FM.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs
and dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I'm debating whether to share my inner thoughts. I'm not. I'm going to keep my comments to myself, but now I have, when you get new information and it makes you question your whole entire existence? That's a real thing. People like, you changed. Was I not supposed to? I thought that was the point of being on this rock in the middle of the world, in the middle of the universe, just spinning. I thought it was about growth. Sorry, I misunderstood. In other news, Wyoming names Aaron Appelins the first Black sheriff in the state's 131-year history. And guess what, y'all? He got braids. He's a real one. I'm really excited though. 131 year in the entire state's history. Entire state. I didn't say the city. I didn't say a town. I said Wyoming, the state, now has its first Black sheriff. I don't know why I want to play I Shot the Sheriff. He will take over the department troubled by, of course, nepotism. And that is anywhere in America that has been infiltrated ever since long ago by those that we will not name. He's 39 years old. He was appointed to serve out the term of David O'Malley, who resigned on January 2nd because of a $20 million lawsuit. And we are, I hate to say this, but again, celebrating mediocrity because they appointed him. And there are too many times where we deserve it. And I'm not in the mood for a soapbox of that magnitude right now, but I am excited. We shall see what happens. I will follow that story. Kamala Harris, we talked about her yesterday. Her niece is under fire for stating that violent white men are the greatest terroristic threat to our country. And then she deleted it. But why? Remember I said this yesterday, but why? For what? Show me the lie. There is no lie. There is a Black stealth pilot that quits the Air Force due to racism, and he is good at what he does, and he is the pilot of F-22s. And he said that the amount of racism that he dealt with in the Air Force made him quit. And so you know what that makes me want to do, right? Because I know somebody who was in the Air Force, and I want to know if that is a real thing and if they experienced it. We do know that sexual assault is heavy when it comes to the Army because they have their own court martial or their own way of prosecuting that has no outside governance.
Taylor.
Daddy.
Yes, ma'am.
You are live. Can you tell me, so there is a stealth pilot in the Air Force that is currently quitting because the amount of racism that he is enduring. And I wanted to know, when you were in the Air Force, did you have to experience any of that?
No, not really. I don't think I ever came across any blatant racism, not from any of my superiors. But no.
That's amazing. I'm glad you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever experienced racism in Boston?
Oh, yes. Yep. More times than I care to share.
In the South?
Not so much in the South. I know Ma did when she was growing up. They did, of course. But I never experienced it as a young man in Birmingham, but I did several times in Boston.
Like as a kid?
Neighborhood. Well, I was a kid then, yeah. 14, 15, 16. So when I left when I was 20, yeah. I got chased out of Southeast. Rosendale got chased out of Rosendale. Me and a couple of friends. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean how you get chased out of somewhere, Daddy?
So, I was at Rosendale. I just took my driver's license permit exam. I was walking from the testing facility back to the train station, and a couple of white boys saw me, said the N word, gave chase. I hit high gear, and I ran as fast as I could to the train station. Yep. And of course, in South Boston during that time, they catch you there late at night. They call you all kind of words and chase you, try to catch you. Mm-hmm. Been on the train and then heard them saying it. But yeah, those were the few times that I've experienced racism.
Did you ever have anything in with the police?
Me?
Yeah.
No, man. Never seen the inside of a squad car. Ever. You know your grandmother would have killed me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. I was just smart like that. I was just smart enough not to go out and try to do dumb stuff to draw attention to myself to have the police try to, put me in cuffs or something. Nah, I had friends that did that, so I lived vicariously through them. I watched them do that stuff.
You said I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah, not saying I'm a witness, but when you see somebody do something, you realize I don't need to try that. I'm good. Thank you for that lesson. I'm gonna stay right over here.
Okay, Daddy. Thank you. I just wondered because he's been flying for the last 11 years, and that's within this decade. So you were in the 80s. So I wondered whether or not there was anything that you experienced.
I may not have experienced it. I know I've seen it in the military. It's not like it was a mule or anything, but it was there.
Mm-hmm.
But I never directly had anything happen.
Okay, Daddy. I love you so much.
All right. Love you too, baby. Enjoy your day.
I will. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
I love my daddy. I really hate that this article is even. So this article is about a chip bag project and repurposing chip bags into sleeping bags for the homeless. And so the premise of the article is whenever you walk down city streets or streets in which homeless reside, one of the things that you can find is a chip bag. Why? Because they're quote unquote filling for the purpose that is attempting to be served. They're cheap and they're in abundance. And so how to utilize the chip bag in order for a greater good. And so piecing the chip bags together in order to create sleeping bags is a real thing. And the fact that it doesn't have to be is absolutely boggling my mind. Because all of the land, because all of the houses that are vacant, because all of the buildings that are vacant, because all of the jobs that are vacant, because all of the people that need training and mental health. And we know the problem, but because it doesn't fit our bottom line, we never want to fix anything because it doesn't fit into our bottom line. And so we allow things to continue to crumble and wonder why they don't improve. And we find solutions to the ultimate problem instead of finding or engaging in maintenance. Period. That's really what it is. It's maintenance. And so I need maintenance on my vehicle. Why do I need maintenance on my vehicle? Because I'm trying to prevent it from having a catastrophe. And we don't prevent in America. We just allow catastrophe. And then we're like, oh, how do we fix this catastrophe? It's like, yo, it was preventative maintenance in the beginning. And I'm learning that about my healthcare. I am. Because there's a million and one memes about, healthy food is expensive. Well, you should really see your healthcare bill after you get out the hospital for all of these things that could have been prevented by the way you eat. Ah, Lord of mercy. Researchers found a way to send tiny robots into mouse brains. Technology, huh? And so, in a mind-bending development, a team of researchers in China have managed to treat brain tumors in mice by delivering drugs to the tissues using microscopic robots. The robots jumped from the mice' bloodstream into their brains by being coated in E. coli, which tricked the rodent's immune system to attacking them, absorbing the robots into the cancer-fighting drugs in the process. The team's research was published in the Journal of Scientific Robots. It comes on the heel of a previous research by members of the same team, which saw liquid-coated nanobots remotely propelled through jelly-like fluid of the eye. Besides being an obvious recipe for an episode of the Magic School Bus, that's what I was thinking too. Absolutely, the Magic School Bus. This is like new research that is working in mice, and then most likely after mice, it will be monkeys, and then after monkeys, it will be us. It'll be. Do you want to sign up for a trial? $5,000 after 3 months. Yo, can I tell you? So those used to be heavy in the newspaper. Like, do a sleep trial for 28 days for $5,000. I was like, yo, I want to do it. I would just sleep a sleep trial. Listen, I could knock those out. I could do about like 5 a year. I'm so serious. Back in 99, when I was 18. Yes. Very much so. I used to want to do those things so bad. But then I was like, hold on, I'm trapped in here for 30 days? Like, I have to be in here in 30 days. That's not realistic. You're trapping my whole body in here for 30 days. You're not getting the realistic of me going home and doing all these things that I do. So this isn't real research, because these are for people that are locked up in a cage. And then I left it. I went down that rabbit hole, and then I left it alone. But I did try. Yo, the things I did in my younger years. Lord have mercy. In other news, hold on. We're coming to the top of the hour, and we're about to have a guest. And there was an article that I really wanted you all to read. Oh, so shout out to Sesame Street. They purposely have two Black Muppets to talk about the coming together episodes on race and the ABCs of race literacy. So shout out to Sesame Street, because they have always been above the curve when it comes to young people and when it comes to just kind of explaining things in general in life. And so a lot of my life lessons I absolutely learned from Sesame Street. And it's funny. It was always funny to me as a little girl that my mom was like, I used to watch Sesame Street. I'm like, but you're old. How? And Anari and Asaria watch Sesame Street, and Baby Rain is now like Elmo. And so it's crazy how many generations Sesame Street has truly been through, and how they have always had tough conversations throughout the years. And when you think about the people who worked at the shop and were on the show, they had mad Latinos on television before you even saw a Latin person in a respectable character. And so that, for me, just shout out to Sesame Street. The sister of Marvin Scott III, remember I read the story, he died in police custody in a Texas jail. They're saying that the sister is saying that law enforcement is not being transparent, and something happened about, what happened to her brother. And so they're digging. They are absolutely digging, and they are going to find the truth. And I just want to send love and light and all of the may the truth set you free. May every single thing that happened in the dark come to light for that family, and not just that family, but Kendrick Johnson's family that currently is reopening the investigation onto how Kendrick Johnson was killed, and whether or not they have a tape of somebody's audio saying that, of a confession. And so yes, and yes, may all of this nonsense that was done in the dark be brought into the light, and may I'm ready for justice. I'm ready for all the justice. There was another article. Oh, so yesterday I had a difficult day, right? And we watched an old snippet of when I spoke at the State House on education. No, City Hall for on charter schools. And what did I say the budget was? $1,300,000,000. And so here we are again celebrating mediocrity because the federal government is sending $900 million to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. So really quickly, what time is it? Can I go down this rabbit hole? What I am attempting to look up is I want to look up how many people in Boston, the Boston population. That's what I should just look up. Boston population and Puerto Rico population. So Boston has 684,379 people as of 2019, and Puerto Rico has 3,194,000 in 2019. And so while Bostonians and how many students? What is the BPS student population? So we educate more than 54,000 students, 125 schools, and I'm thinking how many, it doesn't matter how many educators there are or bus drivers there are. There's 684,000 Bostonians and 3 million Puerto Ricans. And we are sitting here and celebrating the mediocrity of sending them $900 million when Boston public school system budget in 2017 was $1,300,000,000. Why the F are we celebrating mediocrity and saying that we're okay with this? When you Taylor, $900 million is a lot of money. We damn near, got a fourth more of what they received for just education in the city of Boston. And so that infuriated me. A Louisville officer nominated for an award after shooting rubber bullets at a TV crew during a Black Lives Matter protest. The reason why this is so important to me is because when you take a look at who gets promoted, not just in this Louisville officer being nominated for award, but take a look at Brookline, just right here in Brookline, when the officer, the fire chief, the person who was at the fire department who made racial remarks was actually given a promotion, a promotion in rank, a promotion in dollars, and not even being held accountable for the racist remarks and treatment. It's absolutely insane to me. And we think for 5 seconds that we can call the police and it's going to be a friendly encounter, and we're going to be like, we're calling on someone for public safety. And at the end of the day, who we're calling on are damn near executioners who get promoted for bad behavior. That's why I'm like, yo, hit them where it hurts. Every time they come out of pocket, put their name on a list. I say it all the time. I'm a real estate agent. If one of my clients feel like I'm not doing the right thing and has proof that I didn't do the right thing, they can go to the board and I could lose my license as a real estate agent. And I don't do nothing but sell houses. But a whole person that carries a gun and is there to serve and protect and has a public service position is not held accountable to the same standard of me having to go to school and take a class and take a test and maintain my license with continuing education, but it's okay for somebody who has control of life and death situations to just become an officer in 6 months after learning how to run really fast. I'm like, common sense, like today's topic is about the lack of common sense we as humans allow other humans to engage in, especially ones that have control over our lives. And this just seems like common sense. So I am going to go ahead and play some commercials and pay some bills. And when I return, we going to talk a little bit more. And then, our guests are here. Yay! Okay, so we're going to pay the bills. And when we return, we are going to talk about women who win. Because I'm ready to, like, make the sun come out. I'm tired of being sad for the day. I'm over it. I am Taylor Andre. Everything Taylor Andre, TAYLAANDRE.com. Social media, everywhere.
Spark FM.
Wheezy boy, make me dance. Daddy, oh, make me dance.
Igniting the airwaves. Spark FM. Join us on Facebook and Instagram at sparkfmonline.com. Turn us up.
Tell me how you want it, yeah. Call me and I'm over it.
Spark FM.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans, and soon they will be available to everyone.
This vaccine means hope. It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
I want to go back to work and I want to be able to move around.
To visit with Michelle's mom, to hug her and see her on her birthday.
You know what I'm really looking forward to is going to opening day in Texas Ranger Stadium with a full stadium.
We've lost enough people and we've suffered enough damage.
In order to get rid of this pandemic, it's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
So roll up your sleeve and do your part.
This is our shot. Now it's up to you.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Taylor Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Taylor makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Taylor is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Taylor Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLAANDRE@thumbprintrealty.com.
If you're talking, they will hear you. Every single time.
Why are we getting killed like this? Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago. Really? Yeah. 0 tolerance. He's out for the season. Harsh. Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right? No, not really. Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they going to know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
You try.
Hey, good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Taylor Andre. Waking up with Taylor Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up at about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I am excited today because we have 3 amazing women. Hold on, let me be clear. It was 3 or 2 today.
We're 2 today.
Hey.
It's actually
Hello.
co-founder.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Super fantastic. So do we have 2 or do we have 3?
2.
Two. Oh, that's okay. We have two amazing women from Women Who Win. They were founded in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic. Women Who Win was born with the belief that every woman has a dream and a story to tell, don't we, baby? We sure do. Created by three South Asian women based in Boston with experience in media, diversity, and women causes, they are a platform that brings women of all cultures, industries, and age groups together. Their global network of contributors share inspiring, relatable, relevant, original stories, educating and empowering every woman dreamer. And so I am super excited. First, I will want you to introduce yourselves, and how do you guys know each other?
Sure. Well, I'm Charlene Sheth, and I'm a co-founder at Women Who Win. And how we know each other is actually an interesting story. Deepa, I'll let you share that one.
My name is Deepa Deveri, and I'm a podiatrist and also a co-founder of Women Who Win. And so Charlene's mom and Manju Sheth, who's our third co-founder, and I, we go back a very long way when I first moved to Boston in 2001. And since then, we've always had a great bond, and we've wanted to do something for women empowerment. And when the pandemic came about and we were all stuck at home, and Charlene was home at her mom's too, and that's when we came up with this concept.
It was literally a coffee chat. The three of us were having an outdoor coffee during the summer, are 6 feet apart. And I guess we were just talking about how, during the pandemic, it was kind of hard to stay motivated. A lot of people were feeling kind of lost and didn't really know what to do. They kind of felt like their dreams and their plans for the year were on hold. So we thought that, and I think that affected women a lot too, because a lot of women were home taking care of their families during the time and the work from home shift. So we thought that this was the perfect time to just launch a platform to remind women that, like, no matter what's going on in the world, you should still be pursuing everything you're dreaming of doing. So, yeah.
So you guys are native to Boston, or are you native to somewhere else?
I was born and raised in Boston, high school, college, everything.
So I was born and raised in India. I came here. I was 8.
Oh, you know what happens when you use your phone? It's sort of like the whole Zoom situation. So if it rings or you get a message, that sound overlaps on our sound. So you might have to go out and come back in.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so that was a call.
So we can get you louder. Yeah, let's get your whole voice. So if you leave and then come back, and we'll just speak with Shailene for a moment. So is that, I said your name correctly, Shailene?
It's Charlene, actually.
Charlene.
Thank you for asking them.
How did you get it to be international so fast? Because you guys grew tremendously, like almost overnight. How were you guys able to get so many women internationally together?
Yeah, that was definitely one of our main visions, was the international component. I think part of it was that all three of us are South Asian, so we've definitely had a pretty large network in India specifically between the three of us. And then we leveraged our family, our friends living in different countries, and they were really supportive, and they kind of spread the word through word of mouth too. Like during our first month, we did a story of this woman who started her own vegan brand in Berlin. So she kind of spread the word on what we do to her friends in Berlin. So that helped us get into that audience, and that sort of grew. And then we also did a story with the youngest Asian city councillor in London in our first week too. So she kind of spread it around like the UK. So essentially, a lot of the international reach comes from the fact that our contributors live in so many different places. Like, it was funny because a month ago, we did a story with an international human rights lawyer from Trinidad and Tobago. And that story went viral in Trinidad and Tobago. So it's really just the storyteller and the contributor that really helps us get into like a new country or a new city. And it's really awesome when we get to do a story from a city we haven't done it before, because we get to meet people and we get to read comments from people that live on the other side of the world, which is really cool.
What is so far, what is the most interesting story or a story that stands out the most to you?
That's a good question. So we've done some really cool ones. We actually did your founder, Danielle Johnson's story, which was incredible. So she talked about being like the first, like being a pioneer in the radio space. But one of my favorite stories that we did from the very beginning, which was a cold reach out, actually, like we reached out to them and they were down, was we did this Life of the Female Pilot story. And she was talking about how only 5% of career pilots are women and only 2% make it to the international captain level like she did. So that was really cool because she talked about like what it's like being one of the few female pilots, how pilot life was affected during COVID. And that was just incredible. Like she sent us this amazing picture of her like on the runway, which was really cool. So that was one of my favorites.
That's dope. Deepa,
Yeah.
what is one of your favorite stories or one of the stories that stick out for you?
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually. I have to say, being in health, probably some of the health stories I feel really spoke to me, and I feel like are very relatable for some of the audience too. So we recently did for Heart Health Month, we did a cardiologist who talked about women's heart health, and that went over really well. And then, of course, being a podiatrist myself, we did a webinar with some international and some domestic podiatrists, and we talked all about women and feet and shoes and all of that. And I have to say that was probably a personal favorite too.
I wish we could actually convert today's show into talking about that. I just actually had a conversation with a podiatrist.
She'll come back.
And it's extremely interesting because we are obsessed with high heels, and the higher the heel, the sexier the woman, and
Yes.
that hurts.
And that's what keeps us in business.
So I would love for us to actually talk about that maybe on a later show, or sneak it in later on today.
Sure.
As far as the stories are concerned, what makes a compelling story? Like, what stories do you guys go after? Like, every woman does have a story, like your mission says, but what stories are the stories that actually get told?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think that when we look for a story that's one, it's relatable. Like there's some element of the story, like at least one line that I think every woman can relate to, like no matter what industry they're in, if there's just something that everyone can relate to, like whether it's like, I was the only woman in this field, or I had to take on a leadership role and it was challenging. Like there's always going to be that one line that every story has in each of our articles that is relatable to every woman. And that's something that we really aim to have. I think the second part that makes it compelling is that we really look at people that have sort of overcome an adversity to get to where they are. People like whether it's like an adversity in childhood or in their career, or it's just someone who's really pushed through a boundary that existed in their life. So I think it's really just those two components, like the first part, making sure that there's something relatable to everyone. And the second part is that they've overcome or pushed through a boundary that faces women.
Mm-hmm. So you now have like 30,000 people that want to send you stories of their life, because their life is like a book. Everybody's life is like a book, right? Their life is like a movie. How do you submit your story, or is it interview style? Like, what is the process? How does the website work? How do the platform integrations, like, I could go on there right now and have a full-blown conversation with somebody who's currently in India doing amazing things. How does it work, and how do you join?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of ways to get involved. So we actually have a Facebook group that's linked to our website as well, called Women Who Win Dreamcatchers. And that has about almost 5,000 members. And that is the best way to connect with our audience and to connect with us. We also have a submission form on our website. And our website is womenwhowin100.com. And there is a submission form there as well. So if someone's interested in sending a story, they just put their information in, and then they give us a little bit of an overview, and then we reach out to them too. So the two best ways to get involved are the Facebook group the form on the website, and then we're also on Instagram and LinkedIn as well. So.
And so if you go to the website, hold on, because I just want you guys to see.
I'm going on the website too.
So if you go to the website and go to the Facebook group, it takes you straight to Facebook.
Yep. And then you can just click join the group.
Is it going to ask us a whole bunch of questions?
No. We just have like agree to follow the rules, and that's it.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you. And where am I submitting my story?
So you go to our contributors and scroll. It's in a few different places, but this is
wow. This is, I really like this.
And I have to give Charlene a little plug here because Charlene is responsible for a lot of this technology, the website, designing it, formatting it. So go, Charlene.
It was a huge learning curve. I've never built a website before this.
Do a story on yourself?
What was that?
I said, are you going to do a story on yourself?
No, I don't think so. Maybe in I think when I have more of a story to tell, I definitely will, but TBD. But yeah, if you scroll to the bottom, there should be a form.
No, I'm being nosy. I'm looking at the diversity.
Actually, one of our favorite ones that you just scrolled through was the first South Asian woman to open a whiskey company, which was really cool.
Really? Okay, so hold on. Can you just... No, we don't have to name all of them, but if you could just go through like a couple that stand out.
Sure.
So the first row, yeah, Charlene, talk about the first row.
So the first row, the woman in the corner, Rosemary Day, she's a Boston-based woman, and she is like a pioneer in like the Massachusetts health insurance space. So that's really cool. And then the one that I just mentioned, Rachna Hukmani, is the first South Asian woman to found a whiskey company. So that was one of the most fun stories we got to do, where she told us her favorite whiskeys and what it was like creating a whiskey company. I thought that was just so fascinating. Yeah.
And then Bobby Carlton is Boston-based too. She's in the technology space. She was up just a little bit further up. But
yeah, like innovation. Yeah, like Mass Innovation Women is her baby, which is really cool, which she helps a lot of women entrepreneurs like yourself. And yeah. But yeah, those are just like a little bit of a sneak peek. And then the one you just scrolled past, Marisha Lakiani is the CMO of Mind Valley, which is a Malaysian-based education company, which is really cool. Yeah. So yeah, those are just some of the really cool ones that we got to do. And then we have pretty much everything. Like some of the ones that you saw were like food bloggers and lifestyle.
Look at Danielle.
Yes. I love that picture. Like when she sent me that photo, I was like, this is the one we have to use. It's incredible.
Texas, Florida, Philadelphia.
She actually has a photo that's up in Boston Commons right now. So the other one you just moved past, Sangeeta Kumar, she has one of the photos that you see in the Commons, like on those like different flagpoles. Yeah, one of them is hers, which is really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so become a contributor. Go ahead and put your first name, last name, email address, and you could be a picture up here.
Yes, highly recommend. Yeah, the more stories, the better. So please reach out.
Yeah. So is there a membership?
So everyone kind of joins the group. We haven't put together like a full membership program yet. We're still in the workings of doing that. And we want to create, because I think the next step for us is like the networking and mentor, and is the networking component. You know, we have a group of almost 5,000 women and then more on LinkedIn and Instagram as well. So we really want to create like a more structured membership networking component, and that's very much in the pipeline as our next goal.
Will you be as far as, so you guys said that you're not there yet. What I would like to see is the ability to connect for like mentorships, maybe.
Yes,
so
that's a huge goal of ours.
And then like different, because you say you have a pilot, you have people in tech, So I'd love to see like exposure to those worlds. And so I don't know, how, like maybe like a day in the life of type situation.
Yeah.
understand what it actually looks like to be in that field, because we all we really don't understand things until we have experience with it or knowledge.
Exactly.
And a lot of our stories aren't told in that way. Ooh, it would be amazing if one day you guys can just do like short stories and do like a visual of the articles.
Yes, that's actually been in the pipeline too. And we've experimented a little bit with that on Instagram, but we are thinking of trying to kind of do but we are thinking of playing with that format as well.
I got you.
What you said about mentorship, that's actually something that we're really thinking about, because the fact of the matter is that we have, as part of our mission, is that we actually have stories from all age groups and we have all industries, which means that we're in a really strong position to have a mentorship program, because we have like the younger generation like myself, and then we also have like my mom's generation and Deepa's generation. So we have all these generations that can easily come together for a mentorship program. So that's why it's very highly on our radar. Like Deepa's in the medical space, so she'd be a great mentor to someone who wants to go into podiatry. And then we have and then one of our tech contributors would be a great mentor, for someone that wants to go into engineering. So we definitely have that on our radar.
I'm about to sign up.
I think you'd be a great mentor too. So
I've been talking to Shailene the whole time. Is there anything you want to add? Anything you want to inform us of?
No, I think Shailene covered it all. But it's we have all of these little projects that we want to work on, but we all also have full-time jobs. So we are kind of trying to figure out the best way to kind of slowly incorporate all of this. But again, just to reinforce, the mentorship is a big part of our mission too, that we want people to be able to have access to some of these contributors in different spaces, in different industries, and everything else that Shailene mentioned too. But I think she covered most of the rest of it.
Shailene, is there anything you want to add? Did we miss?
I think we covered everything. But
you're that good.
You know what? I'm glad this was fast. Now let's talk about these heels. No,
let's do it.
That's what she was trying to get to.
That's what I was trying to get to, anyways. Exactly.
We'll talk off air. How's that?
Let's pay some bills, and then I do. Now that I got you, we ain't never spoke to a podiatrist, so that's exactly what we're about to jump into. We're going to pay these bills. I am Taylor Andre. Waking Up with Taylor Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. How do you guys like our new ads as far as the former president and first ladies talking about the vaccine? Y'all already know how I feel about the vaccine, but I am not a vaccine shamer. Whatever you feel is the right thing for you is what you have to do for you and for your family. And so do that. The Reggie Lewis Center is having a vaccine drive. If you are looking for a vaccine, you're having a difficult time getting the vaccine, you can go to the BBCC, the Black Boston COVID Coalition. Just type in Black Boston COVID Coalition, and on the website, you add your first name, your last name, your phone number with your birthday, and hit send, and somebody will call you and schedule an appointment for you to get a vaccine. So we have seen it to be very difficult for people to get access to the vaccine. This is one way that you can. Again, you go to the Black Boston COVID Coalition, and there's look up vaccine or on their site. We'll do it when we come back. When we come back from commercial, we'll run through it really quickly, and then we're going to talk about feet, because that feet is a fetish. Some people don't like feet. We're going to talk about all of that.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your space? Are you receiving letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Taylor Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Taylor makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Taylor is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Taylor Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLAANDRE@thumbprintrealty.com.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans, and soon they will be available to everyone.
This vaccine means hope. It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
I want to go back to work and I want to be able to move around.
To visit with Michelle's mom, to hug her and see her on her birthday.
You know what I'm really looking forward to is going to opening day in Texas Ranger Stadium with a full stadium.
We've lost enough people and we've suffered enough damage.
In order to get rid of this pandemic, it's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
So roll up your sleeve and do your part.
This is our shot.
Now it's up to you.
Oh, what a night. What a night, what a night. Oh gosh, what a night.
I feel good. Yes, I do. I feel absolutely amazing. Today is the day that the Lord hath made. I am Taylor Andre. Waking up with Taylor Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up at about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. And so we are speaking with the founders of Women Who Win, which is an international platform for women to share their inspiring stories. And shout out to Danielle Johnson, who is our founder, who was one of the stories that they've highlighted. And one of the founders, Dr. Deepa, is also a podiatrist. And so since we have her on the line, we are going to talk about feet today, baby. We are going to talk about it. And so feet is definitely we also do a Freaky Friday. So though we do a motivational Monday, we understand as women, we are like full humans. So we have motivational Monday through Freaky Friday. And on Freaky Friday, we talked about fetishes and how foot fetishes are like one of the number one fetishes in the world. Like across the world, it's like the number one number one fetish. And so we're not going to talk about foot fetishes, but I do want to talk about why are feet so I don't know even what word to give them, but why do people feel the way about feet? Like some people are completely disgusted or just so enamored. Like what is it about feet in your experience from what you've learned?
So this is a little bit of a sidetrack from Women Who Win. I wasn't expecting a podiatry health webinar.
We'll have two different videos.
Okay. So I'm not sure exactly how to answer your question, but I guess what I would say is I think for some people, feet are really important because especially people who suffer from conditions on the feet, because obviously, they're a weight-bearing part of your body. You need them all the time for walking, for exercising, and doing everything else under the sun. And then I don't know I think probably because always covered in shoes and socks. I mean, some patients get fungal infections and things. Maybe that's what grosses people out. But I can say from being in the profession that they're extremely, extremely important. And it's a tough area to treat because people have to use their feet all the time. So it's not like they can, like the arm, we can say, okay, we'll put in a splint and, keep going about your work or whatever. So I don't know. I guess I don't know if that answers your question.
It did answer my question. And one of the things you said that I never even thought about is the fact they're always hidden.
Yes.
Like that, I never thought about it in that sense that nobody you don't, unless it's summertime and you're wearing sandals, but even still, if you don't want to, you can just wear sneakers and nobody would ever know what you're hiding.
Actually, that's one of the things I'm always telling patients is when you get home from work, if you're in shoes, especially if you're in shoes and socks all day, which a lot of people are, then when you come home, just try to air out your feet so that they're not always enclosed.
So, I do have another question, Lord. There's a feet question. So, the whole spreading situation, are you supposed to do that?
The what situation?
like spreading your feet, spreading your toes. Because I heard like, oh, you're not supposed to do it, but then I've also heard that it's good for you and you should do it, and it's like exercising or like opening your chest.
I think it's good to air out your feet. So in that sense, I guess it's good to open, spread out your feet, but not really as exercise. I mean, there are specific exercises for different conditions in the feet. Probably one of the most common ones we see is heel pain and plantar fasciitis, and so I'm always telling patients.
Hold on, say that one again. What is it?
Plantar fasciitis. And so that's heel pain that patients experience very commonly. It's one of the most common conditions we see. And so I'm always telling patients different exercises to do for that specifically. But certainly airing out your feet, I'm a big proponent of, because there's a lot of issues that often come up if patients are, feet are always in clothes and if they're sweaty and things like that. So.
Can you please say that word again?
Plantar, Plantar. Fasciitis is Fasciitis.
Oh, it's 2 words, not
Yes.
one.
Yes. Like I said, I wasn't prepared for this as a health seminar, so I was just
no worries. So I'm a full-blown weirdo, and I love stuff like this. Like just learning different stuff. So this is like, so plantar, like plant your feet.
Plantar means bottom. Yeah. So in medicine, we use the word plantar for anything that's, facing towards the bottom.
Plantar means bottom. And so
bottom meaning like, not bottom meaning like, like top, bottom, like that.
No. I mean, I'm thinking about plants, like the actual, for plants, like them being at the bottom of the earth, or in a sense. I was thinking about like the etymology of the word plant.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's where it comes from, but yeah, we do refer to different body parts as being plantar or dorsal. Yeah. Wow, look at you.
This is the most common in people.
I'm sorry?
This is the most common issue that people have?
Yeah, most common thing that we see in our practice is, a heel pain or plantar fasciitis, yeah.
What about high heels? Do you have any tips?
Wow, you guys, this is going to end up being an hour-long discussion, so
I'm kidding.
I'm going to...
For it. I am here for it. Please, what are the tips? Like the ball, not the ball of your feet, but like this part underneath your toes?
Why? Remind me to kill you later.
I was kidding.
Why? So first and foremost, do you know the history of heels and the reason why we love or we have an addiction to heels? Do you know any history of the high heel?
Yeah, from what I've read, I think it enhances like your Achilles tendon and your calf area. It kind of defines it, and so I think that's kind of how it evolved into looking pretty and attractive. And I think that's kind of where it stemmed from. But as far as heels, obviously in general they're not good for you, for your foot health, for your balance, for all of that. But a lot of patients, I think, if they wear a sensible heel, which is like 1 to 2 inches, then that's fine, and that probably helps even for some conditions. But a lot of patients, they come in because of all these different foot conditions and hammer toes and bunions and things like that, because of wearing high heels a lot. And often also what happens is when patients are heeled a lot for long periods of time, it kind of shortens the Achilles tendon. And so then they have a hard time, as they get older, they have a hard time walking in a flatter shoe. So I see some of my older patients who've always worn heels that it's almost like their foot is now kind of conditioned to being like this. And so it's hard for them to walk flat in flatter shoes. And, with all the other things, the bunions, the hammer toes, nerve issues, things like that.
What is hammer toes? What is that?
Hammer toes is when your toes are kind of curled like that. Bend.
Real
Sorry, I'm showing it on video.
I never thought that was a real thing.
No, it's a real thing that is often surgically treated.
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I hope that answered a lot of your questions.
Yes.
Oh, and this is from wearing heels?
Yeah. Often, and sometimes there's a genetic component. Sometimes there's other things that cause it too. But we should put a link, Charlene, to our podiatry webinar in the chat so that you can share that, because we cover so much information in that. Really, I'm sure you and your audience probably love that.
Best.
Yes.
I think you would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so hammer toes are real. I thought hammer toes was like for bunions. Or like what are those things called? Corns. What is the definition of what is a corn?
So corn is basically a collection of dead tissue that can happen because of some kind of bony condition. So it can be like on top of a hammer toe or on the side of a bunion, things like that. But yeah, we discuss all of this in that webinar.
Yes, I just sent the link so you can take a look.
Yeah, because I have to get off in a minute because I have a hospital webinar. I'm sorry to get into, but any other burning questions before I go?
Right now. Thank you for the webinar, but you're gonna come back and talk to us about some feet.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
But Women Who Win, you guys can visit the website and
join us.
Join us, yes. Join our group.
Women Who Win Dream Catchers, yeah.
And this is the website. Oh, it just took us there. Now you guys can see. This is the website. It's amazing. I love this little graph of where all of the stories have been told of different women. I don't see any pins on Africa. We need to get Africa some pins.
We do. You're right.
Actually, one of the girls I used to work with, she moved back to Uganda, and so she's recently added some friends from there, but we don't have a contributor from there yet, but we do have people from Uganda.
Yay. You know what? I have a cousin that's in Cape Verde who is on the west coast of Africa, and she travels from Boston back to the islands, and she does tours for Cape Verde. Well, she does tours for everybody, but she's does a specialty in Cape Verdeans from America that have never been to Cape Verde. And so I think, I don't know, I would definitely just connect her to the network, and if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, at least there's a connection there. And so who are you three the ones who choose whose stories are told? Or is it like a board or some readerships or whatever is posted on the website is then voted up?
It's pretty much us. Yeah. It's pretty much us, and then we obviously have some other people that give us like their perspective as well. But yeah, it's by us.
I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Thank you for highlighting our founder, who is absolutely amazing. What about Danielle's story? Really, like how did you find Danielle?
So we did a story with Wideline Param, who is the founder of Fusion Dolls, actually, in the very beginning. And she connected us with Danielle. And then and then Danielle and I hopped on the phone, and I was really inspired by what she was doing, and we asked her to do her story. So yeah.
Lord of mercy. And when can we find that story?
On the website, just search Fusion Dolls, and you'll see you'll see her story there too. I can send you the link as well.
Yes, please. And both of them.
I'm just going to say thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just going to say thank you very much because I have to get on another call. But thank you. I appreciate this a lot. Thank you. Bye.
This was incredible.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I just sent it to you. Thank you so much.
And so if you guys remember during
I want to say during Christmas time, Fusion Dolls had a commercial on the show. A commercial on the station talking about the dolls that are created for little Black girls that look like them with their hair done, different outfits. She gave a whole discount code and everything. And so I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. And where's Danielle's story?
Let me pull that up too. Both of them are so incredible. It was so awesome to be able to showcase like the work they're doing in Boston, especially. Let me pull it up.
So you guys, so what there is, or what you could do, because that's a super long link that you probably won't be able to copy paste, or maybe you can copy paste it. But if you go to the womenwhowin100.com and you go all the way to the right hand side, there is a search button. And if you hit the search button, I'm searching up hot sauce now.
It might come up by her name.
Okay. So not hot sauce, by Danielle.
Yeah.
Or Spark. What if we did Spark?
Yeah, either. Yeah, just use the search bar on the homepage or in the navigation, and then you should be able to get to any story you want.
If you guys don't know Danielle Johnson as Danielle Johnson, you can go ahead and just search up Spark FM. And she said, let's not forget the fact that radio and entertainment are often ran by men, and women are often overlooked or ignored. As a Black woman, I wanted to change that. Today's woman dreamer, Danielle Johnson, is the first Black woman to own a digital radio station in Boston known as Spark FM. Originally a nursing student, she later realized her true calling. She is now the owner of Spark FM, Boston's go-to urban and Caribbean station. From Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, among many other inspiring guests and talented musicians, her station brings the Boston communities together and truly highlights the importance of women and minorities in radio. And women in media, hashtag all day. I absolutely love it. I thank you so much. I feel like we went through everything.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.
Thank you. I'm sorry we hijacked it talking about feet, though.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. I loved that. It was great. It was very impromptu.
So Shailene, we thank you. Please, can you come back once you guys start growing and have other components to the website and add the networking portion as well as the mentorship? I definitely want to follow you guys. And I think I might find my host family when I go to India. That's like, that's what I would really love. I would love
sounds incredible.
Family, because it's just so much to do and see. And I want somebody who is like from there and not like, oh, you were around $20.
Yeah. No, we would be great tour guides. That would be so much fun. And I would love to. So thank you so much. This was awesome.
You're welcome. Have an amazing day.
Bye.
I am Taylor Andre, Waking Up with Taylor Andre, where we talk about feet and women in the same day. Which is important because a lot of us do care about our feet. And so what time? 12:40. Let's pay bills and let's come back because I have some more news articles that I wanted to tell you about. And we can definitely talk about those. Waking Up with Taylor Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness.
Oh, what a night.
What sense it make running on 1,000,001 girl out there? Eh? When you get that one, you are the queen heart, yeah. Queen heart, yeah. Queen heart, yeah. Queen heart, yeah. Let me see them hands, yeah. Queen heart, yeah. Queen heart.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Taylor Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Taylor makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Taylor is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Taylor Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLAANDRE@thumbprintrealty.com.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans, and soon they will be available to everyone.
This vaccine means hope. It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
I want to go back to work and I want to be able to move around.
To visit with Michelle's mom, to hug her and see her on her birthday.
You know what I'm really looking forward to is going to opening day in Texas Ranger Stadium with a full stadium.
We've lost enough people and we've suffered enough damage.
In order to get rid of this pandemic, it's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
So roll up your sleeve and do your part.
This is our shot.
Now it's up to you.
What is this, Doctor?
This is
Well, Spark of New England, Spark FM. Bringing the heat back to the airwaves. Turn us up.
all right.
Now, let's take a look.
Let's go. Waking up with Taylor Andre. Bernie Sanders estate tax bill shuts down the wealthy hiding loopholes. So the Vermont senator and former presidential candidate takes a shot across with the wealth defense industry. And so I am so excited to see what comes out of this and to see who's going to vote for it and who is going to vote against it. And so under the current law, a rich person with $25 million will pay the same estate tax rate as somebody with $25 billion. And Sanders is proposing a 65% top tax rate on estates over $1 billion. So a restoration of the highest rate that existed between 1942 in 1976. He said, at the end of the day, we need massive tax reform in this country so that we end that tax loopholes and giveaways that the wealthy and large corporations are taking advantage of. And so we shall see how this works and whether or not it does pass, and maybe it won't and maybe it will. But I am interested in seeing, what comes out of this. And it does not, based on what Bernie Sanders is saying, is like, this is not for just like the 5%. It's for like 99.5%. That's like, it's for the super wealthy, and they are getting massive tax breaks where we, the people, are not. Sanders' estate tax reform legislation is truly a prevention act that is aimed at preventing children of today's billionaires from accumulating democracy, distorting concentrations of wealth. Yo, did you hear that though? It will prevent abusers of grantor retained annuities, or GRATs. Never even heard of grantor retained annuity trust. And that's because it's not fluent in the areas that I reside in. But soon all of my friends will talk about their grats. By barring donors from taking assets back from these trusts just a couple of years after establishing them to avoid tax gifts. And so while earning on assets are left to the heirs of the tax-free, the lawyer who invented this technique for the Walton claim says that it has cost the Treasury over $100 billion since 2020 alone. And preventing wealthy families from avoiding gift taxes by paying income tax on earnings generated by the assets in the grantor trust. It also limits the annual exclusions from the tax gifts, which was meant to shield normal giving done around holidays and birthdays from tax and record-keeping requirements for gifts made to the trust. And so if you are doing like, oh, it's a birthday, I'm only giving $25 million, it's just like, oh, well, it was around that time, which that will now end. And so
the wealth will not just keep getting richer while the poor keep on getting poorer, or at least that's what Bernie Sanders is attempting to fight. So there's this dope article that I am in the midst of reading and have not finished about fight corporate monopolies, releasing a do's and don'ts for lawmakers interrogating big tech and CEOs. And so, long story short, from what I'm reading, is basically the questions to ask. So if you don't know anything about like if you don't know anything about feet, you're going to ask questions about feet that may not, like, very surface questions, instead of getting to the underlying issues or the underlying problems. Like somebody who understands the industry and understands like that area of medicine would ask different questions. And so basically this is the do's and don'ts of how to talk to a tech company that has a loophole. You're asking the wrong questions about like security and about privacy and about all of these things that we have problems with. And you, the politician that have very limited information, and your staffers are getting paid $45,000 a year, so they have very limited information. Like, it just, you don't have what you need. And so they put this together in order to help them make informed questions, or to create informed questions that will get to the underlying questions that we're actually trying to get answered by tech companies. And so I love it, because these are the things that are needed and necessary in order for the politicians that are in positions and are doing the right thing or attempting to do the right thing to do the right thing even more, by having all of the information in front of them so they can make informed decisions. And so if you know anything about Taylor Andre, Wake Up with Taylor Andre, or Finally Home, the step-by-step guide for people preparing for first-time home ownership, it's all about having all of the information so you can make informed decisions, period. New Zealand, Lord have mercy. So why does New Zealand now approve paid leave for miscarriages? So if you've ever had a miscarriage, like, your whole world is shattered. I don't care if you are freaking a month pregnant, you're 4 weeks pregnant, you just found out you're pregnant, and you just found out that you and this person created an entire life, and this life is no longer there. That hurts. That emotionally hurts. That physically hurts. Like, it's a scar that never leaves. And for New Zealand to say, like, you get paid leave if you have a miscarriage. In the United States, your ass can't even get paid leave across the, like, it's per job. If your job gives you paid leave for having a child, maternity, paternity leave. Men still fighting in the United States for paternity leave. Other countries have maternity, paternity paid leave for up to 18 weeks. Ain't that America? Home of the free. Sometimes I don't even feel like what song is that by Jay-Z? And the land of the free. That's the one. That's the one I was thinking of. Comcast. I think this is a sham. I want to go back. Yesterday, who are we talking about? Byron Allen. How much did he win? The $1 billion that he won 10 billion from Comcast Communication. And Comcast is now saying that they're going to invest $1 billion over the next 10 years. What is that, $100 million a year to help close the digital divide? You could have came better, and you could have came stronger, and I'm sick and tired of promoting and celebrating mediocrity. You just gave Byron $10 billion for effing him. And what you should have done is say, you know what we're going to do, the right thing for us to do is to match that $10 billion over the next 10 years, which would have been $1 billion a year, is to then close the digital divide. Because what you're saying with this $1 billion is you really don't give a F. Because if you really cared, you know that $1 billion over 10 years won't do anything as far as the digital divide is concerned. And you're going to still leave us in the dark. And we still ain't going to have the access that we want to have, need to have. And a man who been in the industry since he was a child because his mama was in the industry is still getting effed by the industry. And we were not here rallying behind him. We did not support him. We didn't even care enough about the story to actually pay attention when he was out here telling us, like, y'all, I need your help. And he went up against Comcast
and lost in court, but sued them and end up walking away with $10 billion. And they want to talk about $1 billion over the next 10 years to go ahead and invest in the digital divide. Suck your mother. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm annoyed. Can we please talk about Derek? What's the boy named? Derek Jacks. I don't know him. I don't know his wife, but everybody keeps talking about her in her bonnet. And you know the meme with the little boy who it was a cartoon and he over there like holding on to the wall looking out, and it's just like you whatever. It's like they made it a meme. It's a super joke. And I hate that they done put the bonnet on the boy. Talking about that's her watching her husband do car videos. Why do we like destroying people's lives? We're so mean. We're so rude. I did laugh when I saw it though. I did. So her name is Dania Jackson, the wife of social media relationship guru Derek Jacks, I believe. And one of the things that I've seen all of the time is when like they show different advice that he used to give, and he was just like based on the advice that he gave, his wife should leave him. Should leave him and go mess with somebody else. She came back on Wednesday, yesterday, because people were talking about the fact that she had a bonnet on her head. The girl had on some sweatpants and a t-shirt, and he over there apologizing, I cheated on my wife. And they're like, yo, why you let the man bring you outside looking like this while he publicly admitted that he cheated on you? Like, and she said, you see a bonnet, I see a helmet of salvation. You see an army green t-shirt, I see the breastplate of righteousness. She said, I see the belt of truth and sandals of peace, the sword of spirit, which is the word of God, and the shield of faith. And I've come to the battleground covered in the blood of Jesus to proclaim victory over sin. She said, y'all over here looking about my clothes, but the way my soul is set up, it don't matter what I wear. You better say that. You better say all of it. All of it. And you know what? And that's why 90% of the time you see me on quote unquote TV and my eyebrows be messed up, mustache be fully grown, and sneakers be all the way off. Clothes don't be nothing but a damn hoodie with some sweatpants. You know why? Because the way my soul's set up, and you focus on the wrong thing, baby. She said that this is a spiritual warfare, and if you are not prepared and you do not know what to do, you will drown and you will be a casualty of this war. I did not come here to play games and to play dress up. I came here in my battle suit. I came here on the battleground covered in the blood of Jesus. Snap, crackle, and pop. I feel it though. I feel it. Show up as you 100% of the time and leave absolutely. You're not here for the people. I'm not here for the people. You here for the message, right? Or you here for the messenger? Which one you want? Which one you came for? A white sheriff is under scrutiny. He said that he was afraid of a black newspaper carrier who was simply doing his job. And so on January 27th, in Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer called 911 on Cedric Altamere. He was a black newspaper carrier, and he said because Altamere parked his car outside of his house, he got scared and called 911. And people were like, he was literally doing his job. He said, I seen this SUV hit the block. I continued what I was doing because, I'm working. I'm not doing any harm to the neighborhood. I said, if you had a problem and you feel like you're in danger, then you should call the police unit and bring them out here. So that he made a comment. He's like, oh, I got 4 cars on the way. And I'm like, well, congratulations. And it's a whole sheriff with a gun and a badge. So this is the world that we live in, my love. These are the things that are happening in the world. And this is Wake Up with Taylor Andre. I am Taylor Andre. Waking Up with Taylor Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope you have an amazing day. Mwah.